Yep, nice and easy. We're done with that though.
And the jump rope. Yeah. Whenever I skip rope, I can't use these wireless headphones. They fall right out of my ears. So of course, it would be helpful if I could get the rope itself not to fall out of my hands. Finish my protein shake, then we'll hit this. New name, who this? Yes, sir. For those of you who don't know me, my name is BullMuscle. For those of you who know me as Beer Battered Ag, yes, I'm going through a rebrand. This seems like a pretty good time to talk about that, so let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm a diehard Aggie.
The eyes of Texas are upon you. That is the song they sing so well. Sounds like hell!
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I'm your host, BullMuscle. Welcome to the show. It is Sunday morning, and today we're going to get our lift on as normal. Actually, not as normal, I should say. Usually, Sunday is a rest day, so normally I'm either inside, playing old school RuneScape or some other sort of game, or, I might be doing a boxing workout with the weight bag over there. However, today I am going to hit workout, an actual full-on lift. The reason why is because, as the title suggests, I'm heading upstate today for a business trip. As such, I'm not going to have access to the gym until I return home Wednesday evening. I usually don't that's going to be Monday, Tuesday, and realistically, I'm probably also not going to get home until Wednesday, well into the evening Wednesday. I'm thinking probably 7 or 8 at night. So, that in mind, right, I'm not going to have access to the gym for 3 days, and then Thursday probably will be a rest day anyhow, so not sure exactly how I'll do that. Well, Thursday will probably be weather dependent on what exactly I choose to do inside the gym. The point is, I'm going to have at least 3 days off, and as such, I figure, I don't normally get that many rest days in a row, so I better take advantage while I still have it the day before. All right. We got Understanding 1 and Talio. Good morning to you both. Today, we are going to do a push day. So, we're going to hit our chest, we're going to hit our triceps, and we're going to hit our shoulders. In particular, I thought, as a little change of pace, I was going to hit shoulders first, try it a bit heavier, and go from there. Normally I start off with bench press, be that dumbbells, or be that the barbell. But I figured every so often, it's good to mix it up. Start with something different. So we're going to do that. We're going to start with shoulder press. And to start with shoulder press, best warm up. Okay. Just felt a lot of things pop. Like both shoulders and my sternum popped there. This is just a 35-pound bar. Okay. So this is something kind of interesting, and this is why, in general, it's not something I really schedule, but when possible, I love having a rest day after my leg day, and it's because squats really do hit everything in your body. Like, I'm doing this, and my shoulders are sore. I haven't done a push day. See, my last push day would have been on 4 days ago. So, I've had enough time in theory to recover, but my squats were so intense yesterday that my shoulders are sore. Morning Hydrant, morning Understanding 1. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Yeah, we're going to start with shoulder press today. I want to see how it feels. I think it should go pretty well here. I'm going to tilt that angle up a bit. I'm going to warm up just a touch more, just because sometimes the shoulders feel a little bit sort of cautious. I like being a little bit more cautious with my shoulders. It's been my right one in particular has been acting up for the last couple of months, and it was just starting to feel better. And the other day, I noticed it when I was doing a handstand push-up. So I'm like, okay, take it easy, it won't go too crazy. So I'm just gonna do not even a set, just another warm-up, just rep or two to kind of get the motion right. Yeah, it's not heavy per se. I'd rather have that right. Really work the kinks out before I dive in. Morning, Big Red. I think Kentucky ended up winning yesterday, did they not? I forget who they played. I think it was Akron or some MAC school. It's either Akron, I think it was either Akron or Toledo, and for the life of me, I can never get those two. I always mix those two up. I don't know, insert generic MAC school here. That's basically what it was. Just saying, Kentucky, if you are playing MAC schools as your cupcakes instead of Sunbelt schools, or, you're playing MAC schools instead of Sunbelt schools, or, other sort of more southern schools as your cupcakes, kind of does bring up the argument of maybe you guys are more Big Ten oriented than you'd like to talk about. 35-3 over Akron. Yeah, okay. So, I'm just saying, I feel like there are obviously some conferences that have gotten way too aggressive with expansion, and I feel like the MAC hasn't gotten aggressive enough. First off, I want to talk about, for just a brief minute, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse of Northern Indiana. That is to say, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Once again, creating their tissue-soft schedule by scheduling a bunch of MAC teams. Just take out the middleman, Notre Dame. Join the MAC already. It's where you fucking belong, you bunch of frauds. I don't like Notre Dame. I'm Catholic and I don't like Notre Dame. How's the legs? Oh my god, dude. Everything below my hips is fucking killing me right now. I'm trying to ignore the pain and failing. But no, Notre Dame are the biggest frauds of college football year in and year out. They always get overrated. And full on disclosure, okay, as an A&M fan, I will 100% admit we are on the most fraudulent teams list. We get way more hype than we deserve. But Notre Dame takes it to another level. And the difference is, right, we get exposed almost immediately because we actually play a pretty good schedule every year. Notre Dame picks out the shittiest teams to play almost every year until they get bitch slapped by someone like Clemson every year. I'm doing legs this morning, so I'll try to trash them just as badly. Dude, I hit it so hard yesterday. I'll tell you what, man. Hitting legs that hard is almost like really, really good sex. And I looked this up. I can talk about this per Twitch terms of service. I just can't be that graphic. So it's like really, really good sex. Like afterwards, you feel it all the way down to your fucking toes, man. And I sure as hell did with the leg workout yesterday. All right. Let's get this going. Enough bullshitting around. Although, I don't really have anything I need to do today, so I can kind of go as slow as I want. All I gotta do today is pack up and get out of here on the road by like 3. Hey, King Nick, good to see you. Boom, boom. Actually, I'll take this off, keep an idea on the temperature in here. It feels good. It feels probably somewhere in the 70s. 175. I want to see how this goes. This should be good. I really want to keep my knees static. The goal is to really hit the press hard here. There we go. Strong like bull. That's all I got. Damn. Okay. That's not ideal. 3 is less than I was hoping for. I'm gonna have to go down weight. It was good though. Legs did not move. We'll try 155. This is what it is. Close my eyes to death. It's getting better when I sip of rum. I tried to stand it for a while, but I Hey, that's a very long name. Suck it, Josh, Abba, Jim, Blando. Welcome to the bullpen. What a name! Holy moly! That's a hell of a name right there. Okay, I gotta know. First off, thank you for the follow. Second off, where did that name come from? That name raises more questions than I thought it might. Some people have some strange ass Twitch names. That's one of the weirder ones I've ever seen. That's quite funny. All right. Let's try this again. 155. We'll do 2 sets of that. Then we'll go behind the neck. Chickens, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. The barrel chest is looking pretty good today because we did all those raider pulls. Remember yesterday? Sitting there with a pole like that, trying to bring it down, separate out from the sternum. That's why I do those. That's why I do them after heavy breathing squats. What it does is it expands that rib cage, gives you that barrel chested look, like you saw from the weightlifters in the days of the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. The guys who actually knew their shit, to be honest. The guys that worked way harder than anybody else did. Back in those days, there wasn't no fucking trend, wasn't no fucking steroids. Hell, there wasn't even the basic dietary knowledge we have today. Didn't know about creatine, didn't know about none of that shit. Any of the guys who were getting big, like properly fucking big in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s even, they were guys that were just doing it. Like those are guys who just fucking worked hard. Well, okay. By the time the 70s rolled around, you're starting to see, you know, performance-enhancing drugs kind of getting on the scene, especially if you live behind the Iron Curtain. those Soviet weightlifters were incredibly impressive, but you just know they were pumping them full of God knows what. And I'm sure we started doing that too. But based on the way, especially, just as those drugs were starting to come on the scene in the 70s, it seems like the Soviets kind of got to them first. Some great athletes, though. I'll tell you what, too. Again, it's not often that I give praise to the Soviet Union, but those guys did invent the kettlebell, so props to you guys for that. The kettlebell, the Kalashnikov, the T-44, or the T-34, there you go. Those are 3 Soviet inventions that actually benefited mankind. And Sputnik, too. There you go, there's 4. We kid. I do wish we treated, in a way, I wish we treated the Chinese the way we treated the Soviets in the 50s and the 60s. Not even just as a threat, but as someone we need to compete from and try to be better than in every fucking arena we can. Like, I miss that shit. I miss the fact that, Soviets launched something into space. We saw that and said, bet, we're gonna try and one-up that. Like, we need to do that shit with the Chinese. The Chinese are building all this amazing-ass high-speed rail. We need to say, bet, we're gonna do it better. Are you overhead pressing? I am. Don't forget the Greeks. Oh my God, dude, the ancient Greeks were fucking insane. So there's a legend. I don't know if it's actually been historically proven, but there's an ancient Greek man who he did his entire workout regimen was he would go and get water from the local well, and he had a cow, and the cow had a calf. And he took the calf, slung it over his shoulders, walked to get the water from the well every day. Walked back. He'd do that and continue doing that. As the calf grew bigger, he had to grow stronger to continue carrying it. And as the legend goes, at one point he was carrying an entire fucking bull on his shoulders. I'm not quite sure I believe that, but you get the point. It's a metaphor, really. Aside, welcome. Thanks for the first time chat. I am overhead pressing. I'm also kind of bullshitting around right now, to be honest. I'm talking too much and lifting too little, but it's Sunday. We chill, we're having a good time. Welcome. Yeah, the ancient Greeks were incredibly impressive for the lack of knowledge they had about the topic in the day. Some of what, and again, it's very hard to tell fact from legend when you get, 2,500 years back. So that one's tough. Fireman carry. Oh yeah, fireman carry is fantastic, and also fun. Especially if you think firemen are usually pretty good-looking dudes. Nothing wrong with being carried by and then having to carry, a good-looking dude on your shoulders or sling him over. Anyway. Keep the shoulders loose. Voices in the night. Here we go. Not bad. We'll do behind the neck press at 125. No one will set me free. And here we are, right back where we started. Something's come over me, and I don't know what to feel. To see. And nothing wrong with that at all, hell yeah. That pissed me off. Yeah, you know, people hate the Vols, but God, I really hate Florida. I do not like the Gators at all. I don't know what it is. Tennessee can never seem to pull it off in the swamp. Although, to be honest, they didn't look good against Austin Peay either. I think Tennessee is going to regress this year. And what that kind of leads me to believe is, well, you know, Georgia's running away with the East this year. That's enough said, but like, doing hard on leg presses, my butt starts to itch, tearing those fibers. Can't say I've ever had that sensation in particular. But maybe, I don't know, could be. So we got ourselves, I'm gonna do 2 sets of behind the neck press. So it's the same concept as a shoulder press, just bringing your shoulders a bit further back. What I found is it hits a slightly different part of your deltoids, and it feels pretty good. So we'll do that. I'm gonna do dumbbell for my chest today. I did barbell the last time, and dumbbell's a bit easier, honestly, for me. And I don't know, I feel like I hit it really hard yesterday, so I don't want to overdo it. Burn down my central nervous system too bad. If they play like they did versus South Carolina, they're going to get beat. By who? Tennessee looked like crap. Florida lost to Utah. I don't think Florida's that good. Missouri? Hell no. Kentucky? Maybe? I don't know. Y'all didn't look all that impressive last week. I'm early. Good to see you, conservative. Welcome. That's my question. And then who does Georgia play in the West, too? They play... No, they don't play A&M, although it's not like A&M would beat them. We suck ass. I mean, we looked fine against ULM, but that means nothing. In the same way that our win against New Mexico meant nothing. All right. Anyway, doing the set. There we go. Come on. Not bad. Dogs play Auburn on the Plains. That's a win. Auburn's got a first-year Hugh Freeze as their coach, and Auburn hasn't looked good either. Maybe Ole Miss. I mean, I could see maybe Ole Miss pulling it off, but Ole Miss hasn't looked that good. At least in this SEC. Right now, Georgia's the definitive #1 until proven otherwise. Could you lift my car for me when I'll clean it underneath the steam heater? I don't know. Ooh. See, that's a great question. I'm gonna take a minute to answer that one. I like that question. 1 second. So, do you think the newest CPI retail sales increasing more than expected in August 2023 are a moment of more rate hikes? Great question. Okay, so it's important to look at how much above expectations it was. I believe expectations was 3.6 and it came in 3.7 for inflation. That is above what is expected, and it's definitely going to put the kibosh on any potential rate cuts. I don't think it was so far above to where the Fed will knee-jerk rate hike. I think they're going to stand pat for another month, and next month's data, if it creeps up a bit further, that will induce a rate hike. That's just my personal take. I'm not Jerome Powell. I don't wish to be based on how hard his job is, frankly, but yeah, all the more reason to buy secondhand. Well, I mean, in general, yeah, there are very few items that you'd be better off buying new. These days, it's very easy to find good stuff used. So Craigslist is obviously the big one here in the States. I'm not sure what y'all have as an equivalent in, across the pond in Europe, but here in the States, I can find most of what I need used on Craigslist. I got my bike for $100 off of Craigslist. This served me pretty well, apart from the front tire continuing to eat through inner tubes, which is annoying. I gotta figure out what's going on there. I think there's probably something, I'm thinking there's something on the rim that's poking in, it's like digging into it, but yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I saw Colorado on. They did not look impressive against. Now, granted, it is a rivalry game, so Colorado State's going to get up to fucking play that. But Colorado State is not a good football team. Right now, just by the eyeball test, I would have to put the Michigan Wolverines as the #1 team. Because I recall, they played a MAC school, so not really useful. But so far, I haven't seen, it seems like Michigan's, not only are they taking care of business, they've been doing so without Harbaugh. And I don't have any specific love for Michigan, don't hate them either, but right now, just based on the eyeball test, Michigan's looked the best. Washington, by the way, has also looked good, but I discount Pac-12 schools. I have a bias against the Pac-12. I think it's a garbage conference. That question would tickle a fellow financier. Well, I'm not a financier, actually. By trade, I'm an engineer. I just have an interest in economics and such. This down here is just the, I'm a fan of the FIRE movement. In particular, I'm on the lean FIRE path. Not for any other reason than because I want the fucking freedom. I think of economics as a hobby of mine. I took a minor in it in college because I liked the subject matter. But I'm an engineer by trade. Engineering pays better. And the unemployment rates are a lot lower. Hell, I have multiple employers courting me right now to come and work for them. My current employer doesn't fucking like that, but that's their problem. It's not exactly like nuclear engineers are easy to come by, so, it kind of sounds like a personal problem, their fault. There we go. Come on! You got one more. Not bad. All right. Yeah, I love people who are interested in economics talking here. One other thing I love about my community, by the way, so is politically, I'm something of a centrist, and as such, I get a pretty diverse range of political opinions, ranging from left wing to right wing, and I do enjoy that because it forces me, as the streamer and as the content maker, to consider perspectives I otherwise might discount. I've learned a lot of things from people on all ends of the political spectrum. Lean fire seems like an odd choice to me to retire early, but you can't do much because your retirement funds are, well, lean, but I do understand the interest of being financially independent. Jacob Lund Fisker from Early Retirement Extreme has a really great quote about this. You find it. Measuring happiness in life by your spending level is a bit like judging the city by the size of its parking lots. Put the rest of it back here, stand by. Find it. Here we go. Spending money represents a failure to solve one's problems by more intelligent means. Now, obviously, you can't apply that to every situation in life, but it's a thinker. Right, I can have fun. Okay, I should explain. Materialistic and a capitalist, assume me. Oh, I'm absolutely a diehard capitalist, but the best kind of capitalists are ones that don't get suckered in by the lure, the siren of consumerism. No, really, and that's the truth. I don't mind my job, so just because I can become, financially independent at a given point doesn't necessarily mean I will retire at that point. For me, what's money really worth beyond a given point? Once I have that freedom, I have what I would call the power of fuck you, right? I have the power to tell my employer, hey, I'm out, that's it. What I do with any additional accumulated money, there's loads of ways to spend that in ways that don't necessarily include mindless consumerism. Charitable work, donating to a political cause, investing in upgrades to your life, things that retain value, like, improving the bathrooms in your house. That is value added because it increases the property value of your home, for instance. There's a balance to all these things. Yacht and Lambos, yeah, cocaine and hookers too. God, no. No, consumerism, see, the problem is it's a hedonic treadmill. You will never, ever, ever, ever be happy if mindless consumerism is your goal. You'll never be happy because we as humans have a really good we're really talented at always wanting more. It's very difficult for us to become grateful. You gotta practice this. This is why I'm a fan of Stoicism, in the sense that the ancient Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius would occasionally sleep on a hard floor to remind himself of how good he had it every single night, sleeping on the best beds that ancient money could buy, for instance. In fact, buy a guard dog lawyer for old age. How about buy a guard dog to eat the lawyer? As an engineer, lawyers are my natural enemy. All right, do some bench. Besides, my favorite hobby, the best part about lean fire and the fire ideals in general is that you become a producer. That's the early retirement extreme method. And I'm more or less a producer here. This is my big fun hobby, is streaming to you guys. Well, because I more or less got everything I need, streaming is a revenue neutral hobby. I don't have to spend shit tons of money to do this. It's just fun. All right. Let's do this. practice is what, yeah. And try to, don't be a fucking hypocrite is pretty easy life advice. If you mean something, act by your words. What are you doing?
Oh, I was just watching it.
Oh,
I'm gonna be heading to AutoZone and getting the fuses.
do you need me to take a look at them first, or are you good?
No, I saw what they are.
You know what the ones you got?
Yep, they're both 20s.
Check ass. Alright, let's get triceps set up. But yeah, the thing with lean fire for me is also it's very much more environmentally sustainable. Now, for those of you who don't give a shit about climate change, plastic waste, the environment, you can ignore this. But for those of you that do, right, my roommate's pulling out. Turn the radio down. What are you doing? I'm live.
It was music.
Don't need a DMCA.
You're not gonna get DFCA from what was on. I promise you that. I forgot my wallet.
Roommate is. I try to be pretty cool about this, but like, I don't need the car horn going off on my stream.
Sorry.
All right.
Now I'm good.
All right. See you later.
Wait a minute.
Anyway, as far as all lean fire for the environment is concerned, right? You know, humanity for the most part has relied on living on very little. I'll just do a set. All right. You know, humanity's relied on very little to actually get by. We don't need what the modern world tells us we need to survive. Now, how much of it benefits us beyond a survival is a better question. Unexpected interruptions, yeah. Welcome, Trigger Bell. Dodge is fine, just... Bruh, if you know I'm fucking streaming, turn the radio down before you start the car. Come on. I mean, now she should know that because she also streams. Nah, she didn't mean to. It was an accident. They happen. Yeah, no, Dodger's fantastic. So, as far as other benefits to lean fire, I mean, just off the top of my head, you know, it's more environmentally sustainable. It gives you, right, very, very seldom will you be able to make enough money to do fat fire in a reasonable amount of time. To me, reasonable is before you settle down and have kids. All right? Now, I know that sounds quite unreasonable to most people, but that's my opinion. In general, most people will want to settle down and have a family by age 35. In other words, if you wish to be financially independent, you need to get there before that point. That means you can either make a shit ton or spend a lot less than most people. For my age, I make quite a lot of money relative to most other people. But overall, I'm still not, you know, I'm not making six figures. I make good money, but the reason I'm able to do this is because I can live like a king here in the rural deep south for under $20,000 a year. Do a review on consumers. I had spending ahead when I started working at $50K a year. Now I work way more. I'm a lawyer specialized in tax litigation. Don't come around here, bro. No, I'm fucking with you. We all good. Be financially independent around 40 years old, whether I keep working or not. Might just have a stressful job life, get a part-time. See, that's the thing. It's about the freedom. It's not necessarily about retiring early, but it's about having that calling card if your employer does something to piss you off. Because that's what it is to me. I don't hate my job. I do hate getting fucked with. My management is actually really good. I like my job, and I like my manager, so it doesn't happen often. But having that freedom, all my managers have to know is, hey, I can retire anytime I like, and I'm 28. You don't have to ever act on it. They just have to know that and say, okay, can't fuck with him, we're gonna go find someone else to, do the grunt work, do the bitch work, come in on a Saturday. They're not gonna ask me. Because they know I'm just gonna tell them to kick rocks. Woke up in a strange way ever is today tricep day. It is. Triceps, shoulders, and chest. It's our push day. So we're gonna be boom, boom, hitting those. But yeah. No, I don't trust no lawyers. You may be a good one, but the vast majority of y'all ain't. Here's why. Here's why I say that. I'm an engineer. I create shit. Lawyers get in the way of creating shit. Y'all and bean counters. We're just natural enemies. All right, I hit another set here. And I'm sure, I'm obviously a little bit tongue-in-cheek there. Not every lawyer is an evil bastard. Just a lot of them are. Little man on the silver mountain going. Bum, 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 bum. It's okay. And I know, for every nasty lawyer joke we have, y'all lawyers have plenty of good engineer jokes to fire right back at us. And if I'm a dish it, I can take it. So if you want to make jokes about me being a stupid-ass engineer, you go right ahead, I earned it. Although nobody makes as many really funny engineer jokes as mechanics do. Because mechanics are the ones you have to learn from. If you're a young engineer, and if you go up to mechanics and says, well, this worked in the model, you're gonna get laughed right the fuck out of the room. Don't do that. Listen to your fucking mechanics, because they'll be the ones actually installing the part you're trying to design. You have a wit and an imagination, you're literate, you're a king. You should very rarely be truly bored with life. This is very true. I mean, again, I want for nothing, and I'm very, very seldom bored. My problem is that I don't have enough hours in the day, frankly. Between trying to get enough sleep, hitting these workouts, streaming with you guys, taking care of my house, going out hiking in the lovely nature here in the southeast. What more could I want? Actually, I know the answer to that question. And for those of you who have been hanging around my channel, you know where that's leading. Prosecutor, though, I'm not doing paperwork, though. I'm going against the guys who tax evade. I love it, truly. The sheer volume of the caseload is overwhelming. Ah, okay, all right, cool. Respect then. I don't know. I have two. There's two parts to me about this. On one hand, it says these guys are probably billionaires that don't need to save the money. On the other hand, fuck the IRS. So I'm like, I have mixed feelings about tax evasion prosecutors. Tax evasion, shit, the entire purpose of this country, the United States was literally founded on, fuck you, I don't want to pay taxes. Fuck your T-tax. I'm creating my own country with blackjack and hookers. There we go. Someone screaming my name, holding again. I just like you to read prosciutto. You're a prosciutto. The engineer says the glass is twice as big as it needs to be. Facts. and being a half-empty is full. Yeah. Ah. This is one of my favorite jokes is a doctor, a lawyer, and an engineer are out playing golf, and they notice the group in front of them is taking a really long time. It's going really slow, and so they ask one of the golf course employees, "Hey, what's going on with the guys up there? Don't look like they're doing very well." He says, "Oh, they're they're firefighters, and they lost their eyes in a big blaze, saving people's lives." And the doctor's touched by this, and the doctor says, "Oh my gosh, well bless them. I'll see if I can talk to my surgeons and see if we can't get something to help their vision." The lawyer says, "Wow, that's incredible. I'll see if we can make sure they're getting access to their pensions and there aren't any legal encumbrances for these people." The engineer thinks for a minute and says, "Well, why can't they play at night?" There's a little bit of truth to that. Here we go. I'm the man on the silver mountain.
Consider being a pessimist pays off for me. How was the wedding? It was all right.
Wasn't bad. Wasn't my wedding, it was a friend of mine's. Bride was beautiful, the food was mediocre, and the drink sucked. We had these strawberry margaritas, took one sip of it, it was like cough syrup. Oh, it tasted bad. Oh, God. Dude, if you made me spend a week in human resources, I would go full-on sociopath. Oh, man. I would just offer everyone. Because if I spend a week out, if I go for 1 week, I'm going to make human resources. Dude, I fucking hate HR. You say testosterone? No? My tries are killing me already. Oh my God. We have a good time in here. I think you are still waking up. I don't know where you got that one from. But yeah. That's one of my favorite engineer jokes. Why can't they play at night? Oh, Nick, all right, you get my pack bounce? Good day for it. Today's push day. I'm just about to do a bench set. A mountain. Bum, 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 bum. I'm the man on the silver mountain. There you go. All right. Let's hit this. The song's almost over.
Tests for replacements here and there. I've been off it for the time, didn't really need it. Engineers being more interested in objects and things always will draw. You have to speak to an engineer 5 minutes to figure this out. It's facts. Here we go. All right, do another set of bench. Strong leg pull, come on.
Damn, that wasn't good. 14.
So you got hit by a bus? Hell yeah.
That's good. You did well. That or you're hungover, I'm not sure which. Alright. Do you want to do incline with dumbbells?
I think I do. We'll do plus grip.
Hey, good to see you, cat bro. I guess I can start calling you Mike, because the other two Mikes on the Discord never fucking show up. In their defense, they live across the pond, so. My cat bro. Hi. Well, so, you know, on the server, cat bro knows this. So we got Senex Mikesy, who's British and sometimes shows up here, and we have Michael Wave or whatever he decides to call himself. Really kind of depends on the day. Who's originally from California but lives somewhere in Europe now, and also usually doesn't show up here. Nah, he's cool though. He's cool. Yeah, as far as the whole fire thing is concerned, I do think you know, it really does depend. There have been some interesting job offers that or not job offers, but job opportunities, I should say. I haven't gotten any official offers yet, although the prognosis is looking pretty good there. That would suggest I may have some opportunities in some interesting but much higher cost of living areas. Of course, if this happens, it means I would probably need to work a bit longer, but it would still mean I'd have the financial independence option, because I still own this house, and presumably if I were to leave, you know, I wouldn't sell it. Perhaps I would, but I'm confident that I can find a way to get my, like, if I go out to a place that's higher cost of living, work there for a year or two, decide I don't like it, I'm still going to have the same amount of money more or less saved up as I would if I continued working here to my FI goal of 2025. So if I do that, all of a sudden I say I don't like it, well, I can still be financially independent. I just have to cut my spending back down to the levels I have while I live here, which I know how to do like that. I would just have to leave the higher cost of living area. Maybe do the van life for a little while, move back here, who knows, you know? All right. Alright, we got one more set of these to do. My shoulders are already sore because I did the heavy shoulder press already. Okay, that one was hard. Da Nang looks cool. Oh yeah, I'd love to do Vietnam. That's a great place. I'd love to do Vietnam. Everything really from Saigon to Halong Bay. And everywhere in between is supposed to be just dramatically pretty. Now, I'm going to set up chest for a close grip press. And we're going to do raises. Also, I need to, excuse me. Actually, for this I should not have the clips on. Be better off not. This is only 175, so I'm not going to fail on this. But it's better still not to have the clips. Keep it balanced in case I do fail. Alright, let's use 40s. There we go. Land to my people. Says you realize over there I can speak fluently, but I cannot bargain in Vietnamese. Good to know. Note to self, have Trigger Bell with you if the trees ever start speaking.
Yes, that's a dark joke. Deal with it. You know, man, you were there. Yeah. All right, better do some close grip. Yeah, this is not the right music. I need something a bit stronger. I love Dire Straits, but this ain't quite it. Oh. Oh. There we go. I'll get my revenge one day. It's such a flavor. You remember that one dark joke? Ah. I could have gone so much worse with it. I could have started making Lorax jokes. If trees ever started speaking, I'm gonna walk around with the copies of the Lord of the Winds if you behave like a prophet. I guess our boys should have done that in 1968. That was one of the more dumbass wars we ever fought. It's a shame too, because Ho Chi Minh, all he wanted was a free Vietnam. He didn't care if it was communist or not. We forced him into the communist camp because we supported the French for some stupid reason. Actually, the reason was to keep them in NATO, which itself is a stupid reason, but still. It's dumb. I mean, you'd think that we had learned the French were useless 10 years prior in World War II. I mean, why we sided with them over Vietnam, I will never understand that one. Hey, Harmony, welcome on in. All right, I'm gonna do a set. Surprisingly little about the Vietnam War. Modern history doesn't interest me very much. All right, well, the simplest version is much like really almost every country after World War II that wasn't in the developed world, the end of imperialism was nigh, and the British and French empires in particular were out of money. As such, between negotiating and sometimes violent revolutions, different states within the previous empire started to break away. For instance, the reason India supported Britain in the Second World War is Britain promised independence, which they achieved in 1947, albeit messy. The French were not as keen to negotiate as the British. As such, when then Indochina was the name for it back then, wanted independence, particularly of Vietnam, but to a lesser extent, Laos and then Kampuchea, which is now known as Cambodia, they had to do so violently. The Vietnamese basically guerrilla warred the shit out of the French for 10 years until, in the 50s, the French had enough of Dien Bien Phu. I probably butchered that, my apologies. Vietnamese is fucking hard to say. And the Vietnam got split up as the same way Korea did between the communist north and a non-communist south. Communist north was led by Ho Chi Minh. However, Ho Chi Minh was not originally a communist. In fact, one of his most respected and admired leaders was Thomas Jefferson, because again, he believed in Vietnamese independence. And the only reason he turned to communism is because in the late 40s and early 50s, instead of backing, instead of living up to our ideals of get away from the empire, we want our free country, self-determination and all that, we backed the French, because the French were threatening to pull out of NATO if we didn't. Bunch of ingrates. And for some reason, I don't know, to this day, that's the biggest head scratcher I've ever freaking heard. The French weren't gonna fucking leave NATO because they were scared shitless of the Soviets, and the French didn't get their nukes until the 60s. So it was a completely empty threat, but we bought it hook, line, and sinker like a bunch of idiots. And so we supported the French as such. Ho Chi Minh got support from the Soviets. Vietnam split into two. And then the Gulf of Tonkin incident happened in 1964, which drew the US completely into protecting South Vietnam as a state. There's a reason, you'll notice the United States Army never pushed into North Vietnam through the war. That wasn't the goal. It was to continue protecting South Vietnam. Unfortunately, and the name escapes me, the dictator running South Vietnam was not very good at, not butchering his own people, so he was extremely unpopular. As such, eventually, public opinion turned against the war. It became really expensive. In 1973, we pulled out under the Nixon administration. And then 2 years later, Saigon fell in 1975. So that's the briefest summary I can give you. Voss the Lord, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. And Bougie Bones with a peck bounce. Hey, CWCR, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome on in, you guys. Let me give you a shout out. Whew. I gotta hit another set pretty soon here. Alrighty. Baby, just spread your wings. We'll get higher. That's the perfect volume for the Raiders. Was it? Good. You teach me how to peck pop? Bench more. There you go. Good to see you, Vossy Lord. He looks like Kratos. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I've been working hard. All right. Next set, close grip bench. This is 175. Save all the tears you've cried. Oh, that's what dreams. Icon, welcome on in. God, I love all these new raid chatters. Welcome on in. If we hit 50, let me know and I'll attempt to do the splits. God, after leg day, that's not going to kill me. Oh well, we'll make it happen. All right, strong like bull. Thanks for the follow, Icon. Baby, dry your eyes, save all the tears you've cried. Oh, that's what dreams are made of. Baby, belong in a world that must be strong. Oh, that's what dreams. Husky, thanks for the first time chat. Yo-Yo M8, welcome on in, new raiders, and new followers, and new viewers. Good to see you. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is BullMuscle. My goal is to stay and become strong like bull. I will help you do that if you want to learn from me. If you don't, that's cool too, just hang out. Not only do I do weightlifting, I do diet advice, I also do financial advice, financial independence. We talk about all sorts of stuff. Stick around, chill out for a spell, ask me anything, and enjoy. Good to see you as always, Hold a Rocket. All right. Close grip. Probably do 4 sets of everything. Husky, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. By the way, for those of you who like what I do and want to check out more, all right, Arnold press. And I can't recall any other than a place that there's no way. Thanks. Appreciate it, Icon. Straight from my heart. So, for those of you who don't know, my normal stream times are at 9 a.m. Friday to Saturday and Sunday, and usually Thursday afternoons as well. Be damned if I hung up on the line. How many sets left are we out of? Okay, we got 2. Yeah, we'll do skull crushers today, I think. Dumbbell skull crushers will be our final tries after we're done with this. That was only 11. Damn. Baby, why can't this be love? Got to know. We do Arnold press next. Just tell you what, I can bring y'all further in. There's no reason to be this far back. Now that I'm not doing overhead anything. That's much better. Yeah, that is much better. So you got 2 more sets of Arnold press, 1 more set of close grip. shoot, 4 sets of incline. We got a lot of incline left. I'll have to hit those. 2 sets of chest flies. 3 sets of skull crushers. What's the financially independent I'm free time all about, if I may ask? Absolutely, you may ask. Let me do a set, and then I'll explain it. Strong like bull. So, financially independent, I'm free. What am I referring to there? The financial independence movement is about saving a lot more of your income as a percentage of your total pay, letting it invest, and trying to live off the investment income earlier in your life than the traditional retirement age of 65. For me in particular, my goal, and I'm very, very likely to hit it, is to be financially independent before I turn 30. Right now, that's 591 days and change, and it's looking very likely that I'll get there. I'm about just a tick under 80% of the way there at the moment. To boil it down simply, there are 2 ways one can get financially independent. You must make a lot of money, or you must spend a lot less money. It's not about how much money you make, rather it is about how much of a percentage of your income that you save. For me, this number is very high. It's because I do make decent money, obviously, I'm a nuclear engineer, but I live on very low relative to most people in my income bracket. As a result, I consume a lot less, therefore I need a lot less. As a result, I have to invest a lot less to get enough money to live off of investment income. Pretty clear? Feel free to ask further questions about that one. That is one of my, it's one of my life's goals, it's one of my passions, is learning about investing, personal finance, helping people in those situations. If you're curious, I don't ever say it unless asked, but I am very open about what I make, what I spend, what my savings rate is, how I save, what I invest in, all that sort of stuff. I think personally that this idea that you're not supposed to share your salary with people is just a clever way for corporations to pay us less. So I don't subscribe to it, and I don't think you should either. There's no shame in making less than someone. They're just numbers. It's just how you process that information, what you do about it, really that matters. All right. This is my last set of close grip. Hey, welcome back, Trigger. I'm getting pretty gassed. So I came back up because I don't want a hungry bowl. Do it. I know what I'm going to eat today. It's going to be pretty good. All right. That's the last we're going to do with the barbell today, so we're going to put this up. Hey, what's up, Joe? Welcome on in. Come on! 10. The last rep didn't fucking count to get up there. So you know what? I think I might try skull crushers with the barbell. It's here. I might as well. There you go. Move to incline next. Yeah, welcome on in. GGR, good to see you. Let's see, so we got We got 70% of the way through the workout. We got 9 sets to go. 6 on chest, 3 on tries. What shows like at your age? What are you investing in? All right, I didn't see that earlier. Hang on, let me. Small business, I've been independent 2 years now. Good for you. I am mostly a boglehead, that is VTI. Yeah, we got 3 more sets of skull crusher, but 3 sets of skull crusher, 4 sets of incline, and 2 sets of flies. So we got, what's that? Yeah, 9 total sets left. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Shoot, what was I saying? I'm starting to sweat. It's getting warm in here. Actually, it's more that it's just humid. It's raining out, so it's very, very moist. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about. What is your bicep size? Just flexing without like a pump or anything. A little over 16 inches around the bicep. So that's really arm size. It's not just bicep, because obviously it's taking the tricep into account as well. But there you go. Here's your answer. 16 inches, I think, is about 40 centimeters, more or less, give or take. I have a tape measure inside. We can measure it when I get in. Just remind me. All right, I'll do my next set. Here she comes. Oh, past the time. Hot shooter. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. Zero discipline. Not bad. Yep. There's the Talza drying post. Funny looking dumbbells. Yes, okay. So these are no ordinary dumbbells. These are power blocks. They are adjustable dumbbells. The ideas here with these are that they're much more space efficient than a giant rack going from 5 to 90 pounds of dumbbells. What type of engineer are you? I must have. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with chat. I'm a nuclear engineer. I graduated with a mechanical engineering degree, but I've since started working in the nuclear industry. At this point, I'm really more of a nuclear engineer. Hi, Nalal. Welcome to First Time Chat. Good to see you. Many Tacos says, let me get that scratch on my side. There's a scratch on my side? Where? This? That's not a scratch, that's rust. It's from the bar. How's it work? I only know of DBs that are like miniature barbells. So, I'm gonna do another set and I can show you. Is this haircut a statement, Tab's voice, or did you lose a bet? Funny, the answer is both. Originally, I bet my channel that they could not get to a certain number of followers within a certain time, and if they did, I would get a mohawk. And they did get there, so now I have a mohawk. And I kept it because I like it. It's just surface rust, don't worry. I've actually been thinking about shaving off my mustache and doing something similar. Maybe if we hit 2,000 by the end of the year. I don't know. I know, it's weird. I feel like half my audience likes my mustache and half of them hate it. It's very polarizing. There's very little in between. All right. As long as it isn't, I mean, a lot of people would say at least this is the 70s porn stash. Mustache needs to say. That's, I never get a good, the thing is, if I shave the mustache, I get a massive, like I have such a baby face. I look like I'm fucking 18 and I'm 28. Like, I will get carded. I mean, I get carded every single time. Like, clean face, do it. See, what y'all need to do, if y'all care about this one, you need to be on my Discord advocating for me one way or another on that front. Because the problem is, like, I'll put up polls on my Discord, I'll get like 10 people voting on it. There are 40 people currently watching me right now. There are, I think, 1,700, 1,800 followers that I have. So if I'm getting 10 people voting on something, that's less than 1% of my total audience. And that's not really a good sample size for me to make judgments on. So, you know, if that's the case, I just kind of do what I want. I very much listen to feedback, but if I'm not getting quality feedback, well, you know, it's kind of a moot point. Triggerball, you do have a baby face. Power steering. Okay, so how do these dumbbells work? So, the little slots, bring it over here. The way this works is that you can see, right, Each one of these plates is 10, and there's this little slider here, right? This little slider that comes in and out, and you put it in each slot, depending on where you want the weight. So 20 would be up here, 70 would be down here, 90 would be all of these. That's the general idea. Does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't. Yeah. Type. There we go. Pretty much. It's a loadable dumbbell, yeah. That's the idea. They're freaking great. They're one of the best purchases I've ever made. They distribute the weight a little different. Not really. It's the same principle. It's no different than any other dumbbell, really. Amazing by the fact you load it heavy, it seems to save a lot less space in the round plates. Bingo, that's why I have it. This is a garage too, it's not just a gym. So I don't have space for a giant rack. The camera is tilted now, so let's fix that. Much better. Oh. Was that my second set on incline? I think it was. I'm going slow today. I'm just dicking around. I'm talking a lot, but who cares? I ain't got nothing else to do today besides go upstate. By the way, last call, if you live upstate in South Carolina, you want to hang out, I'm going to be in Greenville the next few nights, so hit a very welcome on the Discord. Hit a bowl up. Haven't done any set yet. Boy, Kim slap you. Don't even trigger bell. Yeah, this is a 70-pound dumbbell right here, or 31 kilograms. Jump. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, living in North Carolina at the moment. Well, hey, I'm in the Midlands, over near Augusta. I'm on the other side of South Carolina. I'm near Georgia. And if you guys are wondering what I do for a living and why I'm able to, sock away so much of my income, you guys can ask about that. There's a limit to what I can tell you, but you get the idea. All right, third set, let's go. Get 2 more sets of these. Strong light bulb. I like South Carolina. Yeah, strong light ball. All right, last set of inclines. We got 3 skull crushers, 2 chest flies. I love Van Halen. Wait a minute. Did I count that up right? 4, 7. 10, 17. Wait a minute. I think you're right. 7, 4. Okay. Yeah. Wait. 7. Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Sorry, y'all. Something like that stronger than this. Van Halen. This is Root Beer Queen back. Is that Dodger's new nickname? Is Dodger the Root Beer Queen? Dodger, apparently you're the Root Beer Queen.
Okay then.
Apparently your new nickname is the Root Beer Queen. I don't know why. You can talk to my audience about that one.
I'm the cold horse.
I have no idea what you're saying. I got Van Halen playing, but you can come over here and talk if you want. You can come on stage if you want. Just allow me space to do my exercise.
I know, that's why I'm standing back.
You just read the chat.
Yeah, I've been called far worse than that. Strong like bull, hell yeah.
Dodge is forever the Root Beer Queen to me. You got any thoughts about that one?
I'm not sure where that one came from, but again, I've been called far worse. I forget why I needed root beer that day.
What's the temperature in here? 76. But it's very humid. It's more humid than normal today. So I'm sweating more.
Oh, that's great.
Little Rocket says, howdy, Dodger.
Yo.
Or she says, hi, Dodger, I should say, but.
Yo.
All right. Well, root beer float. I saw her. I don't drink much soda. All right, skull crushers. Currently drinking cranberry juice mixed with applesauce, cinnamon, 7-to-3 ratio. That sounds good, but it sounds like a lot of sugar. It's just something together. God, I love Sammy Hagar. What a savage. Used to have an easy bar to do skull crushers. This is just 85. It's nothing crazy. Come down just a touch. There we go. Y'all can actually see me doing chest flies on this one. Hey, it'll last. This is almost over. $85 is a lot, my guy. I guess. I guess you're new to the channel. If you want, I can tell you what my PRs are. I think it's at PR. How tall am I? It's all in my about, but I guess it's not the command. I forget which one it is. I always forget what that command is. I'm 6'3". That's about 191 centimeters metric. I weigh roughly 210 pounds. It's about 95 kilos metric. Yeah. I think apart from deadlift, all my commands are up to date, or all my PRs are up to date on there. I hit a new deadlift earlier this week, and it about killed me, but I'm glad I did it. The rain's picking up. Hopefully that passes through before I have to go up to Greenbowl. I don't really feel like driving in the rain. Currently at maintenance, around 12 to 15% body fat will bring a bulk later. It'll begin a bulk later this year. I mean, that's accurate. Chest flies. That's kind of neat. You see the abs really well because the light's getting refracted through the dumbbells. Lifting PRs, I named them weird. I need to go back and fix that. My bad. The only one of those that isn't up to date is deadlift. It's now 440, which is 199 kilograms. Ah! Come on! More! Oh, let's go. To be in my PR for squats. It's impressive PRs. I appreciate it. My chest ain't as strong as it was about a couple months ago. I need to get my chest back where it was. I'd like to guess right now. I mean, obviously not this second because I'm almost all the way through a push workout. If I had to guess like actual, like if I was fresh right now doing a PR on bench, it'd probably be somewhere around 335, 340. 355 is all time. It was janky. It fucking went up. So we got, so that was I think 16. So 2 sets of skull crushers, 1 set of flies, and we're done. I probably won't go too far here, because I do need to pack up, help dodge the fuses in our car, and then you know, hop out to Greenbowl. So I probably won't go for too long today, but we'll finish up. Certainly been a high volume. It's nice. Here we go. I should put clips on for this. When it's over. over. I know how it's going. True love never die or not fade away. 405 max for bench squat and RDL. Wait, so you're saying you had the same max for bench squat and Romanian deadlift? Dude, that is top heavy as I thought I was top heavy. Dude, that's a wild bench press. And don't get me wrong, 405 on squat or deadlift is impressive. And even more so Romanian. But 405 bench is like fucking elite, bro. Did you have leg injuries at some point that prevented your squat from going up proportionally, or? That's just wild to me. No disrespect, by the way. This is impressive no matter how you dig it, but I'm gonna go down to 30s for this. I want volume for this more than I want weight. Do Van Halen, we'll do Humans being some of my favorite. It's such an underrated Van Halen song. People forget that Van Halen was still putting out damn good music into the 90s. Okay, so the overhead pound workout is something coined from Early Retirement Extreme. Basically, the premise is very simple. The overhead pound workout is you have a barbell, and you attempt to do as many full body presses. So that's barbell as rest, you deadlift, you clean it, and you put it above your shoulder, or you put it above your head, as many times as you can within 10 minutes. You multiply the number of reps you do by the number of weight you do those reps at, and that's your number. For me, I believe it was 58 reps at 135 pounds, which is something like 7,600 pounds total. Guys are treated were college football trainers. I ended up with a back injury last year. I'm just now getting back into lifting. Hey man, it's always hard to get back into it, but you can fucking do it, man. I believe in you. You got this. FM, good to see you. Tanked up on water. I have to be careful, I don't want to vomit. But that's wild. It's very unusual to have a bench equal to your squat. If you've got a bench as strong as your squat, it means you've got one hell of a bench press, or you've had leg injuries. It's usually one of those two things. Let's do this. This is our last chest set. Only 30 pounds here. This is not for weight. These are flies. These are meant to really burn out. The word bench press sounds foreign to me. Yeah, bench press is when you're laying down on the bench and you push it up with your chest. Come on. $21. $22. $4, I think. That's 24. Building will eventually peel off starting load of 10s, peeling after 20 pounds at 10 reps. Never unloading the bar, no rest. Just hold the bar while they peel off weight until there's no weight on the bar and max out. So that's the same principle behind heavy breathing squats. And it works very well. That's good. All right, one more set of skull crushes left to do. I feel like my lats are still relatively my weak point, but I can see them now. It looks like I got a little bit of that Koopa shell. Most people call it bench press. Chest press usually means a machine trigger bell. Why would humans being shine, shine? Alright, we're done. We're just human. Alright. So I'm gonna do some abs, but this is now where we kind of move into Q&A a little bit. So if you guys have questions, this is the time to ask. Some Russian twists while I wait for y'all to do some questions. Oh wow, it's really coming down now. What does it mean someone calls you buddy or bud? In the American parlance, it just means friend. It's another way to say friend. How's my drainage ditch rolling? Oh yeah, it's handling that like a breeze. Rolling down. Oh yeah, it hasn't even made it all the way down yet. Perfect. I love the sandy soil here. Soaks up water extremely easily. As a result, very seldom do I flood. Thought it meant like high youngling. I don't think so. I've certainly never heard it used in that regard. Boy would be more accurate there. Don't call someone boy unless you're in a position of power. Even then, don't do it. That's disrespectful. Do some V's. That was strange. I don't know why I did that. 10 years old, I wouldn't disrespect Paul. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that, man. I'm a Southerner, so respect means quite a lot to me. back's looking all right after that. Did you play any sports in school? Football. As an offensive lineman. I've since leaned out. Actually, even then, I wasn't the best run blocker. Oh, but boy, was I a good pass blocker. It's like a shield there on the right side. Oh, and I was so good at getting away with holding. I was a bastard of an offensive lineman to play against. I'll tell you something too. Defensive linemen are some of the most athletically capable people on a field. They're also usually dumb as a sack of potatoes. Defensive linemen have one job. 2 if you're a defensive end, 1 if you're a defensive tackle. Your defensive tackle, your job is to get to the fucking ball. Your defensive end, your job is to contain and get to the fucking ball. As a result, usually coaches will put the most athletically gifted but intellectually challenged guys there. They'll put the idiots there. Defensive line is not a position you need a lot of intelligence to play. Offensive line, on the other hand, you have to be able to communicate, scheme, and watch for stunts or other sort of trickery and act as a unit, especially if you play a zone blocking scheme. As a result, offensive line usually tend to be some of the smartest players on the field. You wouldn't think about it. You'd think offensive linemen are a bunch of just big muscular oafs. It's not the case. Defensive linemen are stupid. They're also hyper-aggressive most of the time. You need to be. You need to have a fucking mean streak if you want to be a good defensive lineman. It's the reason guys like Reggie White, Michael Strahan, Lawrence Taylor were great at rushing the quarterback. They're fucking mean. Deacon Jones, the head slap, right? That's shit. You gotta have a mean streak to be a good defensive lineman. But that means they're also prone to outrage. They're prone to bursts. It's why defensive linemen will make stupid penalties every so often. Talking hands to the face, talking roughing the quarterback, talking stuff like that, right? What does that mean? What it often means is you can piss them off. You can get them to stop thinking clearly. What I'm talking about is hold them. And get good. If you're good at getting away with holding as an offensive lineman, or you will piss a defensive lineman off so bad, they will start screaming at the ref. He's holding me, he's holding me. Once they do that, stop holding for about 5-10 plays max. Second they do that, he has lost all credit with that referee. You can get away with holding for the rest of the game. That's what I would do. Yeah, I was that kind of offensive lineman. D linemen fucking hated me. And of course, you do that again, once you get away with holding, he gets even madder, he starts making mental mistakes, right? Starts really getting aggressive. Starts really trying to make plays. That's where you get hands to the face. That's where you get, dirty, you start making dirty plays. All of a sudden, 15-yard penalty, 15-yard penalty. He jumps the snap count, 5-yard penalty. Oh man, you can get a defensive lineman fucking tilted, and it's fun as hell. Am I cutting or bulking? Neither. I'm actually in maintenance. And the reason I'm in maintenance right now, I bulked from January to March of this year. I cut from March to about mid-March, I should say. I took a 2-week maintenance break in between. I cut from March to about July, and I'm in maintenance right now, so it's September. The reason I'm in maintenance is, while I would like to bulk, I live in the deep south, and it's fucking hot here. And those of you who have bulked before, you know very well that all that extra food results in a higher TEF, thermic effective food. Your body will have to digest that food. Digesting that food produces heat. When you have a lot of muscle mass, what it does is it turns you into a walking, talking furnace, which in a place like South Carolina in August is not ideal. It's already a steam bath here. I don't need to amplify that by constantly, becoming a giant furnace. So what I do instead is I maintain through the summer months. Like really, the way I do is maintain through summer and fall, bulk through winter, cut through spring. So my guess right now is I'm going to continue maintaining. I might do a mini cut. I'm at 210 right now. I got a beach trip coming up in the future, and I'd like to be really fucking diced for that. So I might cut to like 205, and then come around December I'll start bulking. And I don't know how far I'll bulk. I could bulk just back up to 225, 230. I could try bulking to 240, 250. If I'm doing that, I'm going to look this will go away, which makes me sad, but I will put on a ridiculous amount of muscle. I'm bulking unintentionally. No, that just means you're eating too much. That's not how that works. If you're bulking, bulk with intent. All right, let me do another set. Rain's coming out even faster now. Check, make sure it's not cooling up too bad. Nope, it's rolling just fine. Beautiful. Check it back here. Yep, there it goes. And, uh-oh. Nope, it's going. Just try starting back up there. Some creeper. I need to chop all that. Honestly, a lot of that's my neighbor's property. I just need to bite the bullet and fucking do it myself. Well, I love my neighbors, and they put up with my bullshit, doing this in the fucking mornings. But they're in their 70s, and so they don't always do as much yard work on their property as they should. God, I'm holding on to 170 for dear life. I don't like dropping below 170. Well, I mean, that's easy. Just eat more. If you have trouble bulking, start drinking milk, and lots of it. 2%, like I'm talking half a gallon to a gallon a day, you will gain weight. Speaking of, okay, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen, Mikhail Shez. Bull calling me out like that gave me energy for my squat yesterday. Well, hey, then it was worth it, right? My point is, eat with intent. Be it for bulking, be it for cutting. Don't mindlessly eat. Good morning. Is it bad? I'm eating chips on my work break. I love Chipotle, and it's been torture frying chips and not being able to eat them. I haven't treated myself in over 3.5 years. Provided that you're measuring out how much you're eating and you're not over or underestimating it, you probably have room for it in your budget, your calorie budget. Just, don't go overboard. Don't eat an entire fucking, gigantic sack of them. Have a small amount and put it away. If you want to get lean, you have to get really good at the push-away exercise. That's not what you do in the gym, it's what you do in the kitchen table. All right, I'm gonna do another set of abs. These are good questions though. I'll finish up, I'll do a few more sets of abs, and then we're probably gonna look to raid someone. So keep carrying on with the questions, y'all. I like this. This is a good conversation. Oh, those are always good. Heartburn, I don't want to get heartburn only from Chipotle. I love Chipotle, it's delicious, but I don't often eat it. Holy kids, so bad, it's about 3 ounces. That's not so bad. Hot Bodice, welcome. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the bullpen. What do I invest in? I said it earlier. I didn't really specify that much. So, how I invest is a split between 401k, IRA, HSA, independent brokerage. Those are the primary four. What do I invest in particularly? I'm a fan of Vanguard. I'm a fan of broad-based index funds. This is my bread and butter. And then I have a few speculative growth stocks that I have as my sort of play money fund, so to speak. I'm not a very good investor when it comes to picking stocks, but because the majority of my money is in Vanguard index funds, I've done just fine for myself. Are Roth IRAs worth it? It depends. For me, I use a traditional IRA because I believe these are my peak earning years, and I will not need to withdraw money from a Roth IRA or any of my IRAs into my 60s. So as such, I believe that I'm better off getting the tax break now as opposed to a Roth IRA, which is only a promise of a tax break. I also don't necessarily trust the government to keep that promise. Therefore, I prefer a traditional IRA. However, if you think your peak earning years will be in your 50s and 60s, and you believe that's when you're going to start withdrawing from your Roth IRA, then yes, the tax benefits are worth it, assuming you believe the government will actually give them to you. I'm big down low in the market and I consider it a learning curve. So am I. 2022 shellacked all of us. I've mostly bounced back, but a lot of my tech and growth stocks got decimated. But that was the point. They were, big gambles. One of mine that's kind of on the brink, but extremely cheap in terms of valuation if you believe they're going to make it, is Automotive. So what they do is they have a drive-by-wire, steer-by-wire suspension component for an electric vehicle, like a van or a commercial truck platform, like a delivery van. It's called the ReCorner. The idea here is that if you can take all the suspension and drive components and put them all in the wheel well, you now have a much flatter loading floor for storage. This could be 25 to 30% more efficient than a Ford Transit or a Chevrolet Express. And that 25 to 30%, if you're a company like, say, Amazon or FedEx or UPS, that's a huge amount of money. Not to mention, the idea is that instead of having lots of different components to repair, you sell one corner module unit, you make it very easy just to swap the modules on and off, boom, you don't have to worry about it here as much. Friends told me if I put money in any type of Roth account, can't take it out until I'm older. You can, it's just you may have to pay a slight penalty. I told me to focus on traveling now when I'm young and invest in my retirement until I'm older. I mean, okay, so my 65 plus fund is my 401k and my traditional IRA. I'll get it when I get it. You can start withdrawing on that from age 59 and a half onward, I believe. And if I don't throw another red cent into those accounts, it'll be worth plenty to take care of me when I'm older. Because it's still got 3 decades worth to sit and compound. And on a long enough timeline, you're going to see roughly 7% returns on average. So looking good there. But every year while I'm working, I'm still putting in the IRS maximum, which is about $20,000 a year for a 401k and $6,000 for an IRA. I believe it's $6,500 now, but you get the point. So that right there, every year I do that, it's just getting bigger and bigger. And then, at 7% interest on average, you're going to see about doubling every 10 years. So let's say you have $100,000 invested combined in your 401k and IRA that you don't intend to touch until you're 59, right? Let's say you're 29. That means you've got 3 decades. So it'll be $200,000 when you're 39, $400,000 when you're 49, and $800,000 when you're 59. So it's multiplied by 8. $100,000 at age 29 is worth $800,000 at age 59. You tell me if that's a good deal. I would fucking say it is. And for what it's worth, I have more than that in my 401k and IRA. I was just using that number as an example. Anywho, and that's after inflation, I should add. All right, I got another set. I do see we have more than 50 people in chat, so I will attempt to do the splits. Oh, that'll be fun. Your 401ks are a great investment because Chipotle will match 100%. Yes, if your company matches 100%, that should be the first thing you invest extra surplus money into, apart from paying credit card debt off. Because if you have credit card debt at 25% interest, paying it off is equivalent to getting a 25% return on your money guaranteed, and you're not going to beat that, period. Apart from that, yeah, get the match. Company match at my current company is very good as well. And yeah, it's free money. Take it. Well, you want to discover I've been missing peanut butters in my nut allergies. Besides yours, but funny. I discovered I can have sunflower seed butter. Well, that's cool. Now, I love nut butters. The problem with them is that they're extremely calorie dense, so be careful about how much you're eating. If you're bulking, peanut butter is it's like milk. It's liquid Jesus. Or I don't really know what peanut butter is. You can call it liquid, you can call it solid. It's kind of in between. It's a very, very thick, viscous liquid, if it is indeed liquid. Anyway, I'm going to do, I think I have 2 more sets. All right, got 1 more. I'm gonna take these out. I'm good with music for now. There we go. ChatGPT says Tacoma doesn't look all that cheap for me. Nah, 2 more sets. I got 1 more now. And then I'll do the splits. I gotta pee though. Stand by. Oh, I needed that. Sorry. What are we saying? Okay. Low cost of living area near Seattle. You won't find one. You're going to have to find lower cost of living ways to live in Seattle. The best option is if you can find a way to live without a car, the amount of money you'll save on that allows you to pay a much higher rent and still come out ahead. In other words, live close to where you work. Try not to own a car if you can avoid it. Bicycles are your friend. Instead of burning gasoline or using electricity to power yourself to get where you need to go, using the flab off of your own ass. Bicycles are money-printing youth machines. Tacoma's not a bad place, though. I like Tacoma. Okay. $401ks, yep, we talked about that already. Perfect. Contribute $500 every paycheck, but it's really $1,000 because your job matches. Absolutely. So I throw about, I guess I shouldn't say that. I throw about I don't care. I throw about not quite $1,900 a paycheck into my 401k. And then my company matches a chunk of that. I think they give me like $600. I know it's something like, when I add it all up, I get something like $30,000 total going into my 401k every year, which is pretty good. Uncle is the one who told me don't buy a car unless you can afford the whole purchase in cash tomorrow. Then he told me I could afford a car, don't buy it in cash. My uncle told me that you can afford it. I have to finance a car preferably at 2 to 4% interest rate and invest the rest of my money in S&P index funds. Why buy a car at 2 to 4%? I bought mine at 0. No. I'd say it really depends. Honestly, again, if you can avoid owning a car, because automobiles, right, ignoring financing for a moment and actually paying for it, automobiles, all they do is take money from you. Gasoline, maintenance, insurance, you name it. Very rarely is an automobile a rational purchase. Now, where I live in the rural deep south. There's no way to get to the store without an automobile, and even if I could, there's no way for me to get to work without an automobile. It's literally impossible. If I attempted to bike to my workplace, I would get stopped at the site gates, and they'd tell me to turn around. Cars only. And to be honest, that's fair because the only way to get onto the site is a 55-mile-an-hour road with no shoulders. Using a bicycle on that road would be suicidal, so I don't do it. All right, we got 1 more set of abs, but then I'm going to do the splits, and then we'll wrap up after that. Oh, raise legs. everywhere I've been in the market, it doesn't offer 0% on any cars. I've looked everywhere. Small just said sell for 2. Yeah, we're in a high interest rate right now, so unfortunately, that is the case. I would say buy a used car right now. The price for new cars has gone through the roof. It's going to stay that way until the next recession. If you can avoid buying a new car, I would until the next time the market crashes. Just my advice. If you're looking for good used cars, there are some choices I would recommend. The biggest one is don't buy a stupid one. What I mean by that is avoid big stupid trucks, avoid big stupid SUVs. You don't need a Chevy Tahoe. Nobody needs a Chevy Tahoe. It's the dumbest fucking vehicle I've ever seen. Bought new because it was cheaper than the used market. Fair enough. Depends on, it really does depend on what car you're looking at. Alright. I got my protein mix. We're gonna throw that on here. Protein, 380, 64, 8, 16. Perfect. How about new? Because yeah. Oh. All right. So, oh right, I owe you all the splits, don't I? All right. Challenge accepted. Oh, this is gonna be hard, especially after yesterday's leg workout. This hurts so bad. The things I do for my audience. Why are American cars so large? Because the United States is so large, and this is the one most people don't realize, because of government regulation. Due to increase in crash safety test standards in the United States, and that's the problem is American crash safety test standards only care about vehicle-to-vehicle impacts. They don't care about pedestrian impacts. As such, manufacturers are incentivized to make cars that protect the inside passengers of the vehicle very well, but with no regard to the vehicle, the safety of anybody else. As a result, and because they're a lot more profitable, American car manufacturers put a lot of their emphasis into big trucks and SUVs. Anyway, so let's do the splits. Here we go. Americans measure their penis size with cars. Some do. Express how much shit fits about. Says how much shit fits inside European cars. They look small, but holy hell, they fit so much. Dude, I know. I have a Chevrolet Volt, which was sold over in Europe as the Vauxhall Ampera. I'm keenly aware of how much better European hatchbacks are, and I sorely miss them. You can't get them in the United States, oftentimes because it's both unprofitable and illegal to sell them here. All right, here we go, splits. Never done this with shoes. We're gonna find out how that goes. Oh, okay. Woo, that hurt. All right, we're done with that one. Better with socks. Ah. Yeah. No, I love the United States. I am a patriotic American, but some American cars are just fucking idiotic. And if you're buying a Cadillac Escalade, you're a moron. There's no reason you should buy that car. There's literally nothing it does that justifies its value. Hold a little longer. That just about killed me. I'm sore. Remember, I did that huge heavy squat workout yesterday. I'm extremely sore below the hips. Let's see who's on Twitch. We're chilling here for a moment. Surprised how much luxury groceries chilling fit. Oh yeah. Oh, I know what Bach Fiats are, and I wish I could get one here. They don't sell them in the United States. I love Bach Fiats. In fact, one of the places I may find a future job is in an area that is relatively dense, and as such, it may make sense for me to go with a electric or even just a conventional Bach Fiats. The problem is getting one. As it turns out, shipping one from the Netherlands is fucking expensive. Do a floor lunge and then pull the leg back up, good for hip and hamstring stretch? No. I don't think I will. I'm good. Yup. Yeah. Yeah, they're called cargo bikes here, but Bach Fiats just sounds cooler, so that's what I say. I know what a Bach Fiats is, though.
I like the Omafiets too. It's just a basic bicycle that's extremely easy to maintain, extremely easy to ride, and not very expensive to buy. All right, so who do we got? We've got Zachbot, Fiziko, Bam Bam, and Typical Yam. I think we'll probably go with Zachbot. So, I think that's going to be about it for today. Let's talk about the future. I'm going to be live on probably Thursday afternoon, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week. Next week will be the normal stuff. Then the weekend after that, I will be off Saturday and Sunday because I will be going to the beach. That's more or less it. Do we have any final questions before we look to go raid? Give you all 10 more seconds. A few cousins in Santa Monica and a few cousins in Calgary and Bachfiets. They are starting to make their way into the US, but they're very hard to find. All right, looks like the answer is no, so we're gonna raid, make sure I got the name right here. It's ZachBot55. Oh, raid message, of course. Yes, I'm busy, I'm driving up to Greenville. Raid ZachBot55. By the way, y'all, if you like what I do and you want to hang out more, I'm like on the Discord all the time. Hell, I'll probably just chill out in the lounge as I'm driving up there. So, kind of up to y'all. It's the rest of Los Angeles. Dude, Los Angeles is the biggest waste of potential city I've ever fucking seen. Los Angeles has it's flat, the weather's perfect pretty much all year round, and it's got the right topography. Los Angeles could be the biking paradise of the world, and instead it's the fucking 405. Here we go. All right. So we're gonna raid ZachBot55. He's pretty dope. He's talking shoulders. Raid message is Bull Rush. Thank you all very much for coming out. We had a bunch of new people with the follows. I'll be sending thank you messages out. CWCR, thank you very much for the raid. I will make sure to, well, I think I already did shout you out. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you very much. And as always, y'all, make good decisions. Those good decisions form your habits. Those habits form your values. Those values form an ethos. You'll be the guide star through the rough waters of life. Come in for the big hug. Big bull hug. Let's go raid. Hey YouTube, good to see you. You already heard about the schedule. I'll see you around.